Hola, hola, paletitas. Welcome back to another episode. I'm Ana Sheila.
I'm Cesar Camacho.
Yo soy Jose Richard alias Nalgona. And welcome to this podcast where we like to challenge ourselves, systems, and the status quo con un poquito de cariño, peligro y toxicidad. Pero poquito nomás un
Poquito.
Well, we're so happy that you are here back with us. And for this season, we all know and shift that because we're constantly shifting and expressing ourselves. When you came back to our first season, in our first episode, we talked a little bit about our identity. Mm-hmm. Let's do an identity check.
Oh.
¿Cómo se sienten? Has anything shifted? Have you learned new things about yourself?
I'm still crazy. No,
Más loca que nunca.
She's been in therapy for 3 seasons.
She's been in 3... Y nada. Y no hay results, girl. No hay results after therapy for 3 seasons. I'm dead. No, I'm kidding. I think I'm still gay.
I'm still gay.
You never
I'm
know.
still gay. I'm still queer. Yeah.
I mean, the reason why I bring this up, I think, it's because I was sharing with you all last time. I was like, I'm finding a little bit of my masculinity. I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah.
O sea, all of a sudden, it's like, I want to like treat people like princesas and like, let me come after you, bebé. Like,
A ver.
A ver cómo le haces.
Ay, entre hermanas,
And Sheila's gonna tag us.
But I was sharing yesterday, dude, the way I'm finding myself attracted to like femme women.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Like to go on a date. Like I literally, like I have a homegirl and I was like just looking at her Instagram and I was like, why does she look fine right now?
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I feeling? And I literally was like, hey girl, like let me take you out on a little coffee date. And she was like, oh my God, what? And I was like, yeah girl, like let's meet up. Hashtag femme for femme. And then,
That's so cute.
But the other day, somebody was like, oh my God, bitch, now that you're boxing and doing all the things, you're gonna get all mamado and shit. And I was like, hashtag mamado for mamadas. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just a little bit of a...
Yeah.
It's kind of cool,
Yeah.
to be honest, like, you know, especially now because I'm 35, to very much a la Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler, shout out to her ancestor,
Yes.
who says that, like, the only constant thing, like, God is change and God, change is the only constant thing in her life. I don't remember the quote. Butcher me, I mean, cancel me, whatever. But it's true. Like, my queerness has been the constant thing in my life, but it's ever changing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not the same gay
No,
boy from when
100%.
I was like 12 to like the 35-year-old señora queer that I am now. That can be like, I want to be more like femme dom, femme butch, of like, I'm always going to be femme.
Yeah.
Pero there's a part of me inside that it's like, uy, pero si me gusta el...
No, and I'm also loving this outfit. You're giving us a little chest, a little slit.
Yes. A little Eduardo
It's giving,
Tapetilla.
it's giving daddy. Are you entering daddy?
But tell me why. Daddy with an I. Daddy.
I'm dead.
Wait.
But it's so true. I feel like you start liking different things and it's fun to like explore. Like, I mean, I'm always down for a little threesome with like
We were
a
talking
guy and a
about
girl,
that.
but mostly for the guy. But still, like, I'm always down to like,
But that's
have
cool.
fun,
That's
explore.
beautiful.
Like,
And I think if we really lean into our queerness, like our queerness taught us to really como let go of what we were
100%.
supposed to be and
Yeah.
truly listen to, o sea, ¿qué dice mi cuerpo? ¿Qué dice mi espíritu? ¿Qué dice? And like follow that. And it was really hard to do that. And I think unfortunately, sometimes we still get caught up in these limitations of homonormativity.
Yeah.
You said it right.
Yeah.
Sometimes I struggle with
Yes,
that
yes,
word.
yes.
And so we're putting ourselves in the same freaking boxes that we had to fight so hard to get out of. And it makes no sense. But if we really lean into like our true queerness, not like being gay, lesbian, whatever, but like true queerness and the freedom around it, I feel like that's when we can really let ourselves explore with where our spirit might be evolving.
Yeah.
And it's just so freeing if we let it
100%.
be. Pero si no nos
100%.
dejamos en las mismas cajas de las que
De las-
peleamos para salirnos.
Justo. I think
our own
what's-
closet.
Our own closet.
Pero mi armario, güey.
My one drawer, the drunk drawer.
No, pero estamos hablando, for example, I think one thing that I've appreciated and learned a little bit, it's that the queerness also does not just have to play out in like in gender and sexuality, but it also plays out in relationship dynamics. And so I
Tell me
think,
about
for
that.
example, so right now, I shared this season in my sobriety journey, I have what I call digital daddies.
Yeah.
And these are like men. Oh, there's one in particular. I know. This is for you if you're watching, because I know he's gonna watch it. But he like met him in a professional setting, and then saw him in a non-professional context and setting. And then I like reached out and I was like, "What are you doing in LA?" Because he's not in LA. And so then it turned into him sharing with me at one point where he was like, well, if you know like a cute community-driven femme, let me know. And in my mind, I'm like, bitch, you said femme. So that opens up a lot of possibilities. And as you can see right here, she's a femme. So when I saw that, I texted him and I was like, hey, listen, the first thing that crossed my mind was me, but I don't know what you're into. Ponle tú, after some development, come to find out that I think this man, in that way, I make an assumption in my head, he was made by the gods and goddesses, and he knows it. And I think it turns him on how much I yearn for him, knowing that we're not in the same place. And there is no expectation, but just the back and forth, like literally on the weekends when I'm gonna go, like, if I go out, I'm like, sir, can I go be a slut tonight? He's like, how dare you even ask that? I hope you get beat and broken. And I'm like,
my God.
And he's also very supportive in my sobriety journey. So I have a couple of daddies in my life that on my milestones, I even mandan una fotito so I can stay motivated. But and again, it's the dynamic, you know what I mean? Like I have someone else who calls me kid, and I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, and I love it. But so I think it's the relationship dynamics también that change. Have you from both of you, but just because you're here, also noticed any new relationship dynamics that have evolved in your own queerness? And I mean specifically like la dinámica, ¿me entiendes? O sea, not necessarily like you'll still be gay or whatever, but just.
I mean, I just feel like I feel more open. I do feel more open. I feel more open to exploring. I feel more open. I feel more connected to both like the femme and the masc in me. Like that feels como más, como like a fullness to it. And I just feel open to what happens and new experiences and. Por ejemplo, I've never had a threesome, and that's something I feel open to dynamics.
I need to get her a threesome, guys.
Yeah. And before, speaking of like how you're saying like you could like have a threesome with a woman involved, and you're like feeling.
Well, I need more
to women. Yes. I thought that I could only have a threesome with like two women, but recently I was like, oh, I feel like I could have a threesome with a man. I don't know if I would want to do anything with him. But I like the idea of like the two of us giving pleasure
100%
to a woman. Yeah, so and that I was like, oh, that's hot.
Then when you remember that not all men have penises and not all women have vaginas, then it opens up a whole fun situation.
Mommy, no, I hope you're not watching this.
No. Let me
because it's also beautiful to experience different bodies, like you said.
Let me say worse shit so your mom thinks that I'm the cochina and not you. Pero bebé, with like the first time I was like with like a trans man, I understood the politic of sit on my face.
Yeah.
I mean, like no need for lube. It's warm. It was quite interesting.
And then I need to explore a lot more.
Bebé, juro que casi me sacaba el alma. Bebé. I was like, what? With that being said, bueno, amiguitas, usted se estará preguntando en casa por qué la tía sacó los lentes, pero bebé, es que hoy class is in session. Huevo. So listen, Hochis. So I thought that today we were going to give ourselves a little bit of a space to talk about education. And so we are going to be talking a little bit about some of the formulative moments and processes and terms that help us formulate queerness and how we understand it here in the U.S., pero también sprinkled in with a little bit of our own background as mexicanas y mexicanos y mexicanes. Y usted allá en casita que también pues de Latinoamérica en la diáspora, pues ahí le vamos a preguntar algunas cositas. What do you think, to start us kind of off to get warmed up, what do you think about like gay, queer lingo? Because there has been a little bit of a change and shift over the years.
Yeah. I feel like it's like constantly evolving. Like there's always like new terms that I'm like, what? Like, where's my maestra? I need like a crash course.
Ya llegué, baby.
Crash course on like what the words are. But even like having friends that like speak Spanish or even going to Mexico and like being involved in queer culture there's so many words that like keep coming up with like new content creators, like new like cultural moments. It's like I'm constantly learning or like having to Google some too.
Yeah.
But I also kind of like that like now a lot of my girlfriends know some of the terms, but it catches me off guard when like some girlfriends know terms that I don't know. And I'm like,
wait, what?
Who taught you that?
You
have other gay friends?
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I think for me, a lot of feelings around it. I think of 3 words come to mind and they kind of conflict. Uno, it's empowering, right? It's empowering to be able to reclaim words because a lot of us often reclaim words that were used towards us in derogatory ways, right? So I find it's empowering. It provides us a sense of belonging, especially when we've been othered, like by having terms that bring us together. And at the same time, as usually happens con todas las cosas, there's an extreme, right? When then they also start to become limiting, right? Or again, we talked about this earlier, like trying to put yourself into a little box because you're trying to fit into a term, por ejemplo, but that term doesn't really fully define you, pero estás ahí como tratando. So I feel like we can also get to a place where the words can be, terms can also be limiting.
Right. I think you bring up, both of you bring up an interesting term, right? I think Cesar, from what I'm hearing you say, it's a little bit of like the accessibility, right? Like who has access to the lingo now, particularly because it is very mainstream now. And I think there's a testament, and as someone who has been organizing for a long time, and señora, mis canas ahí están as proof. Like I think when I was younger, and I've said this I think maybe a couple times here on the podcast, but like PGPs, right? It's what we call preferred gender pronouns when we were in high school. And it was so radical to say. Like my PGPs are, but now like it's in a signature, even corporate America. Click here if you want to learn more about pronouns, right?
Yeah.
So I've seen the evolutions of it now, and of course with certain media on mainstream, certain it's more accessible. And at the same time, I'm also hearing you say, like, there is a place of belonging that we get from the words, but at what point do we also stop our healing just at language, right? I think particularly when it comes to, like, gender pronouns, like, I'm not offended if someone calls me he or whatever. Like, not like to a place that I'm like, oh, I'm going to cancel you. You misgendered me. But I'm like, girl, there are bigger fish to fry. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to cancel my mother for calling me he, him. Like, I know the relationship I have with her. And how do I also explain, like, she always finds floral print for everything she wants to, like, ever gift me. Yeah. I'm like, that's some queer shit right there.
Yeah.
And I don't need to cancel her. So I'm curious to hear from you all. One, how do you feel? Who has access? Who can use the language? And also, do you think that language is enough to truly heal?
I mean, there is some comfort in, like you said, like, it is healing now that, like, more people are using some of these gay terms, because it's like, we have infiltrated mainstream media. Like, gay culture is the culture, I feel like, at some point, to an extent.
To the point that now we're seeing the regression, right? We're seeing the resistance to using pronouns, por ejemplo, and a lot of other ways of existing in mainstream.
And I mean, but also to kind of just piggyback off on that, we're also seeing like the context in which we're in now geopolitically. There is a strong push against the community in a way we haven't seen in a long time. Yeah. And it's because of exactly that. We have been, to some extent, not normalized, because do I ever want to be normal? Right. But visibilized enough that it's the powers to be, les está moviendo el tapete.
Les da miedo, les da miedo.
We have too much power, which is,
can't be taken
good, it's good.
The others can't be taken
you can't mess with the hochis.
Well, let's start with that word. Let's start there. Bueno, bebés, miren, quise traerles una dinámica nueva. No encontramos una regla, pero sí encontramos palazo. I feel like la maestra Canuta, güey, from ser un conductor. Güey.
Aguas.
Duele, ¿eh?
Aguas que trae palo.
Ay, no. Bueno, amiguitas, for this one, we're going to bring back a little segment from last year que les gusta a ustedes, que se llama ¿Sabías que? But for this version, the Escuelita version, vamos a preguntarle aquí a tus compañeros, bueno, entre todos nos vamos a preguntar a couple of terms that are in the community that we've heard around, that are historical, that are contemporary, y a ver si saben what they mean. Y pues si la que no sepa, le toca palazo. This is a little heavy.
I'm scared, bro. Eso como que...
Ay, es que ya. Bueno, primero que nada, a ver, ¿quién sabe?
Not you making a song, bro.
¿Quién sabe la palabra hochis? ¿Y de dónde viene?
I mean, I know the palabra, pero no sé dónde viene.
Okay, what
From
is hochis?
Hochis. Hochis is just like gay.
Jota, yes.
Jota, yeah.
Do you know?
And hochis is like a cute form, like
pero
hochis.
No
like
sé de dónde viene tampoco.
Empecemos por el país, porque ahorita les toca.
México.
Muy bien. Ok. Pero...
Mexico.
Y las otras, the nerves, ya está sudando esta.
I know.
Colombia.
Bueno, okay, first of all, let's clarify a little bit.
Yes.
Because in some
Cuéntanos.
cases, like, you know, if you can't use some words, I think what I've seen a lot, particularly from like YouTubers, is the making up of new words. Or this, las perdidas, for example,
Yeah.
are perfect at it. They use el
¿Quiénes son las
lenguaje-
perdidas?
Las perdidas. Aquí, perdidas. Big shout out to nuestra hermana Wendy Guevara. We should manifest having Wendy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, nos van a
Let's go to Mexico.
Let's go to Mexico.
Las paleteras go to Mexico.
We'll go to you.
We're
Vamos a ir a tu casa, Wendy.
We're going to have a live show in Mexico and everybody's invited. ¿Sí o no?
Yes.
I love it. I mean, like, leave it
Le vamos a
in
tocar la puerta a Wendy. Aquí estamos.
Estamos
Hermana.
aquí.
Sí, las perdidas, paletas meets perdidas.
Yes.
Yeah, so they use el lenguaje híbrido to add, like, to be able to talk about some of the things and like,
Yeah.
and on social media without getting like banned or, you know, demonetized. Pero mucho el asichis, o por ejemplo, en vez de decir el culichis, they'll say el asterisco. So that's where the
yeah.
hochis comes from.
Oh, yeah, el asterisco. I forgot about
El
that one.
asterisco.
Or a lot of girls, like, will say hochis.
Hochis, el
They're
lavado
like,
de cazuela,
hochis.
bebé. Ay, there's a lot of terms. ¿Saben lo que es el lavado de cazuela?
No.
El beso negro.
Yeah, en beso negro.
¿Qué es el-
Eating ass, like, yeah.
El asterisco, bebé.
Porque el lavado de cazuelas, girl, it's like a tossed salad. ¿Sí, no?
No.
El beso negro.
Ay, bebé, el beso negro. But comes from the prison, Lucumberri. And at one point when gay men were being sort of rounded up and thrown into jail, the way that Lucumberri is set up, each of the wings is associated with a letter. So there's like wing A, wing B, and then a los hochis lo ponían en wing J. So we know that in Spanish, the letter J is Jota.
Yeah.
Entonces it
Yeah.
became slowly in use a los jotos, a los de la Jota.
Oh, ahí, de ahí salió.
Y de ahí salió.
Damn, that's crazy.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
So you can call
But I
me
always
a
feel
hochi,
weird. I
because
always
I'm a
feel
queer abolitionist.
And no wonder it feels weird when you say the alphabet in Spanish. You're like, Jota. or like you're spelling something
Wait,
out and
entonces
it's
de
like,
ahí salió.
algo
manches,
Jota,
no
and you're like,
no puedo creer que
¿sabías que?
¿Qué? No creo que no sabía eso.
Sí.
Pero
Bueno, amiguitas, damos la palabra J-Hochis. Te paso el palo, bebé.
me toca.
Ella.
Me
En
toca ser la
académica,
maestra.
Ella.
Can I
Yo
just be
soy
the
tu
estudiante?
maestro. Ahora.
Ok. A ver, ¿quién sabe qué quiere decir sapphic y de dónde viene la palabra sapphic?
it sounds Arabic.
Nalgona.
I don't know. ¿Qué de? Detente Hochis. That's another one. Another slang. I don't know. No, wait.
Nalgada, nalgada. ¡Ay! Tengo miedo, vas a pegar con el palo,
Wait,
girl.
Así.
Don't swing too hard.
A ver.
Ay, there's even bass.
I know.
It's the squashable. It's the squashable. It's durita.
A ver, César.
I don't know the word.
It's okay. I'll
Nalgada.
se la salvo para otra que se salga mal.
O sea, el otro falta aquí nomás que está dando nalgadas a la Sheila.
She got excited, girl. She's like,
A ver, jotitos.
la que manda aquí soy yo.
La de los huevos soy yo.
There's something hot about that. Anyway,
I was.
I think it's, well, one thing I just want to acknowledge, I think it's really cool porque, o sea, estamos en this broader community, but there's a lot that we don't know about our terms within, and so I think this is really beautiful that we get
Yeah,
to
I don't know
learn
what that
about
is.
each other. So, yeah, sapphic is like a term that's being used a lot more now. It's kind of an umbrella term for women or non-binary people that are attracted to women and non-binary folks. Yeah. So So it's like a more inclusive term.
I was checked, bitch.
It's a more inclusive term, I guess, and that's kind of the word that's
Really?
being used like ahorita como on social media for parties and things like that.
Oh, like a sapphic party?
Oh,
Yeah.
I know that.
So you probably
Sapphic-based.
have seen that. So everyone's just using
Maybe.
sapphic because it's a little, you're not saying like lesbian or bisexual or queer or whatever. So it's like a more
So it's just like
it's like a
no-
broader
Like a wider term?
It's a broader term.
But
for
broader
women
than
that
queer?
love women.
Yeah,
and
that's
non-binary.
cute.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, I mean, because sometimes I do feel like, I don't think they call this sapphic, but I have been to like a little, I went once to a dungeon.
Yeah.
That was like queer bodies only sort of thing, like queer
Yeah.
people of color bodies.
Yeah.
And what usually what the folks that were there was usually more non-binary and like femmes.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I mean, yeah, but like you can go to a club, like a warehouse party and a gay man. It was like we just wanted cis men.
Yeah.
It was that. And
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah.
And once you get flogged by a femme,
Yeah. And what's really interesting is that Sapphic can actually be traced to a poet named Sappho's who lived in the island of Lesbos, which is where the term lesbian comes from.
I want to go to the islands.
You know what though? I think that Wonder Woman lived on Lesbos Island.
That's where she came from.
That's where she came from.
Origin story.
Wonder Woman.
So that's the origin
Lesbos.
of Sapphic and where lesbian comes from as well.
That's so cute.
That's so cool. I feel like I knew the lesbo part.
Probably,
I didn't know the sapphic part.
And that's and that's just being used a lot more, just more recently right now. So I would say that I feel like I wasn't seeing it on posters and things like that. And maybe in like the last 5 years or so, that people are using it more.
Huh.
And I feel like I like it. I like how it sounds sapphic. No, it's
Yeah,
really nice.
sapphic.
It's nice.
Ooh.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Almost
No, it sounds
savage.
like it's from like the Middle East or like something, girl. Like I don't know.
It sounds like savage and tragic all at once.
Yeah, like something.
Sapphic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Which is kind of
Te
like
toca.
the queerness of it all.
A ver si no if we don't get some splinters.
Yeah, be careful. If you get una pala, güey.
Well, I'm the estudiante. No, I'm kidding.
De cero en conducta.
I know. I'm like, a ver, baja la
Okay, pick one.
lista.
Let's see.
What's a pillow princess? A ver.
You know what that means?
You know what that is?
I think I do.
A pillow
Nalgona?
princess. It's like I usually I know from like lesbian dyads. And the pillow princess, if I'm not mistaken, I think I always assume a pillow princess similar to a lipstick princess, like a lipstick femme. Like it's just like within the dyad, like the more like the princess, like consiénteme, let's do a glamcation, like pillow.
Nalgada.
Wait, no?
Nalgada. Nalgada.
Is that not a thing?
No, a pillow princess.
I love
you don't know
how
what the pillow princess
you were doing really great. You were trying really hard. I see what you were trying, where you were trying to go with that.
But you failed.
Nalgada.
Yes, cachetada. No, I'm kidding.
Why am I the one getting spanked this out?
A ver, Cesar. I feel like Cesar might know.
No, I feel like a pillow princess is a girl that kind of just like lays there and the guy does all the work. Or the other partner does all the work. Because a lot of my girlfriends too, like we'll joke around like, oh, you're a pillow princess.
They say you're a pillow princess.
No, not me. No, I do some work for the most part.
Yeah,
but it's like someone
pillow
like
princess
someone that kind of just like
that likes to just receive.
yeah.
So
Or
they
maybe no
usually,
hacen nada,
so
nomás
they
están-
usually tend to be more more femme
Okay.
in general.
But no, it's like yeah, they're just like
They like to
I'm
rece-
here,
they like
I'm
to
here, enjoy
receive.
me, like
It's like a passenger princess.
yeah,
too.
like a passenger princess. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so stupid. That should have been the connection. Sorry, I know.
Are you a pillow princess?
Are you a pillow princess?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
The princess no tiene nada en la cabana.
No.
She throws the
Sí,
pillow.
no, la neta, sí soy mi mamá sí me hizo chiquiada. I'm a little bit chiquiada. It's true.
Yeah, we're all a little chiquita. I'm a little chiquita too.
I'm definitely a mommy's girl.
I'm not.
But she
But
puts in work in the
I'm definitely
bedroom.
not a pillow princess.
And
no.
Sheila puts in work in the bedroom.
Okay, te toca.
Give it.
Oh, es todo. That's the whole.
Give it
That's
to
the whole
mama.
list. Oh, no, we have
Jeopardy.
more.
No, there's more stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna do one more round just because we're having a lot of fun y porque quiero más nalgadas.
O sea, ¿a quién le has dado? ¿Ya le diste
A
nalgada?
nadie. Siento que solo me
I volunteer.
Ay, mira, como no. It's because he realized that I'm like, I'll treat you like a princess, bitch. You know what? I'm only gonna bring this up because I don't think I know too much of the etymology. I feel like I know what it feels and I have a visual image in my mind, but let's deconstruct it. And also because one of my little situationships calls me this, and it's hilarious. But the word is marimacha. And my understanding, I mean, first I'll say, do we know what the word marimacha? What is the?
I feel like just growing up, it was used in like a negative context, like
Yeah.
from like tias or like relatives to talk about like someone that was a lesbian. They'd be like,
Yeah.
parece marimacha. Like they
Yeah.
were dressed more like masculine.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was always used in such like a negative
Yeah.
way where I was like, ew, I don't like
Yeah,
how you're using this
marimacha.
word to describe someone. And
Yeah.
like
Right.
almost like projecting. I feel like they're like, oh, parece marimacha. Or like, yeah, like I didn't like that. Or like there's certain things that like girls shouldn't be doing, and when they would be doing them,
Yeah,
like
they were
playing with men or
mariachas.
sports or like
Yeah.
playing stuff.
Or like the
certain
type of
sports.
jobs.
Type of jobs are like, vas a salir marimacha or algo así. And I'm like,
Yeah.
ew, I don't like that.
I feel
I don't
like
like that word.
I feel like I definitely think of it only as a negative
Like derogatory, like
word, because
yeah.
even just reading it, like, o sea, me inspiró algo, like,
It
You
triggers.
felt something,
I felt
right?
triggered in
Yeah.
seeing it. So, like, that's
Yeah.
really interesting. Like, the
Do you-
power of words.
Has anyone ever called you like?
Marimacha? Mm-mm.
Yeah, even me saying it, I feel like weird. I'm
Because I
like,
feel like I haven't really heard
I
people
wanna
use it
say
in a long time, ¿verdad? O sea, siento que se usaba más, and I think it
Growing
mostly has
up.
been negative
Yeah.
used. Like, you wouldn't use that now. I haven't heard people use it, like, in a reclaimed way, how we've used
I only
other
hear it when I go
words.
to Mexico. Like when
Yeah.
I'm in Mexico in these little pueblos, like
You
I feel
still- you still
that's-
hear it sometimes?
That's when I hear
But
it.
here's
yeah.
here's the
Oh,
funny
okay,
thing,
okay,
and I think the interesting thing about coming from two languages and
Yeah.
two cultures, like
Yeah.
100% I agree with you with the trigger feelings that the word marimacha triggers
Yeah.
that are negative.
Yeah.
But I also think about, like, for example, when folks are describing or the visual I get of marimacha, I also get a stud. And stud to me is not negative.
No.
Yeah,
Or like,
no,
for
yeah.
example, tomboy.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've reclaimed tomboy
Yeah.
a lot, that it doesn't feel negative in the way that marimacha does. And I will share this, as I disclosed earlier about this fun gender expression, gender feelings that I'm feeling. One of my love situationships calls me marimacha. And it's because he's like, well, it's because you're femme, but you're also like boxy and you're
Yeah.
tapping into this masculinity, but I cannot not see you as a femme.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm seeing you as a marimacha, and I kind of love it.
Yeah, I was
Like,
gonna say, like, applied
Yeah.
to you, like that.
Sí.
That's I'm like, oh, that's good.
Like this,
that's
porque
good.
al
You're
final del
reclaim,
día,
it's like reclaiming.
100%, and I love it porque al final del día sigo siendo mujeres.
Yeah, mujer. That's also another
No,
word.
that's another
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Mujeres.
Yeah, sure. You want to explain that one to folks?
See, I mean, I feel like I've honestly heard it in the context of like Mexico queer
Yeah.
slang.
Yeah.
Pero, o sea, viene from mujer y las, o sea, the girls, you know what I mean? Las the
Girls.
Yeah.
mujeres. Y también el de tus tías ahí, big shout out to Las Perdidas and all the girls from León, Guanajuato. Because that's really where I get the universe de Las Perdidas. But interestingly enough, you know, when I hear marimacha, there's like you hear Maria, right? Mari, being like more feminine. Like
Yeah.
Maria is such a common Latino last
Yeah.
name for women.
Yeah.
And then macho. So it feels like it's like a masculine woman. But see, that's a stud.
Yeah.
And also, I
and
mean,
there's
like,
nothing wrong with that. It's just like I feel like people use it and like almost like throwing it out there as a slur. But it's
I
like
mean, it's been used
stop.
that way. Yeah.
I
people
find
are
myself
just-
attracted to studs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's I was talking earlier, the energy and the relationship dynamics, where it's like, I don't know if like, I mean, maybe I would actually, but in the beginning, I don't know if I would like hook up with a stud per se. Now I think everything changes because it's the stud energy that opens up the engagement, that from there, I'm like, genitals is just secondary at this point. I know the stud, come over here, come here, little faggot.
With a stud
Ay,
back.
de esos que te van a decir que pinche puto, yo de que va que be your puto.
But it's just crazy how there's so many terms that like were bad or like used negatively back in the day, and now we're like reclaiming them, or like I don't know, people just come up with crazy terms to describe the gays or the queer community, and it's like
I mean, I think
Don't
honestly,
give us a label.
me discovering that I enjoy getting slapped around and beaten is because I was like, you know, antes I used to get beaten for no reason. Now I beg to get beaten.
Okay, this one's pretty easy. Again, this is from like my perspective, but do y'all know what a stem is? Come on.
no, girl, ya me nalgada. I don't know any of these.
Use your deductive.
Like a stud femme?
Okay, so tell me what you think what a stem might be.
I mean,
You're on the right path here.
well,
Come
I
on.
see femme and stud. This is very nerve-wracking. I feel like I'm being triggered, like to perform. I hate to be wrong. Capricorn energy.
I know.
I need to learn a
feel
lot
you.
more
I
because
feel
some of
you.
these terms I'm like,
I mean, I mean, in STEM, I see femme and stud. So someone who kind of the in between of both.
There you go. You got it. You did
Am I
it.
a stud?
Yeah, so it's combining stud and
And
femme. So
femme?
it's someone
Okay,
that's
cute.
that's somewhere in
In between.
But one thing I should say about the word stud is that it originates from the
Black culture.
Black queer community,
Black
and
queer
so
community.
it's
Oh, shout out to all our studs.
so yeah. So I would say that there's you know, it's definitely. I do see Latina people using it as well for their community, whereas butch used to be more for white, like more white.
Oh, right.
White women and non-binary people,
Oh, yeah.
butch. And so then stud started to be used more in the Black community, and now it's also used in the Latina community. There are some folks that feel like it should just be used in the Black community, so it is something that's important to call out.
Oh, that's good to know. Not me getting canceled. I'm kidding.
No, so I don't know. But you know,
We're learning.
I agree with you 100%. It's so funny because I didn't realize that distinction until you articulated like that. I think that I subconsciously do that. I mean, when I was referring to a stud, like I pictured like a person of color, to be real with you.
Yeah. You wouldn't ever see a white woman using.
And I say a person of color,
or non-binary person,
just interchangeably because I say person of color and because I think similar to what you're saying, when I think of studs, I have a very distinct like Mexican stud visual, and then I have a very distinctive like Black stud visual. But yes, you're right that I do know that mostly it's been used in Black queer community. Yeah. And I studs. Oof.
Yeah. And then really quick, the term urge to merge is how in sapphic relationships, there sometimes is a very quick urge to be in each other's emotional space, like really, really quickly. You probably heard the term like the U-Haul lesbian or whatever. So that have you heard that?
Yeah.
Or like moving in
First month se casa.
Moving in really quickly. That's not my experience, but yeah, like there is that stereotype. So that urge of like just that closeness because there's usually more emotional like connection and availability. Sometimes.
I'm like, this just sounds like an episode of Steven's Universe. Like Garnet.
Okay, spank me. Okay. I don't know any of these.
Your turn.
Te toca.
We're on our last round of La Escuelita, and the next word is dolls, with the Z at the end. ¿Sí saben or no saben?
So I know it's a word for the trans community, and I know that the phrase "protect the dolls," but I think that's the extent of my background on it. Do you have more that you can add to that?
I mean, I think very much. I feel like I've learned the word through colloquial use, but like I don't know the etymology like the other ones, to be completely honest with you, or its origin histories per se. Pero I mean, I love it. But the funny thing is, I think I associate, again, what I love about how we are and who we are as people in Las Paleteras is that we cradle the in-between of two languages and two cultures and two identities. Because I wouldn't use muñecas in Spanish.
Las muñecas.
Las muñecas. I mean,
do people use that?
Maybe, I don't know, but I don't use it. But when I think about the dolls, it's very much like trans women, but in the context of the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay, so the term dolls with an S or dolls with a Z originated in the 1980s Black and Latina LGBTQ plus ballroom scene in New York City.
Of course.
It's a ballroom term.
It's a ballroom term.
So many ballroom terms, right?
But it's empowering. It's an empowering term for transgender women and trans feminine non-binary people to describe their femininity, beauty, and confidence, particularly for those who were passing or exceptionally feminine.
Like, I think similar, a little different, but similarly like a butch queen. Have you heard butch queen?
I've heard of butch queen. But
Es como una musculoca en español.
Not musculoca. I've never
Es casi le dicen en México, bebé, las musculocas. But it's like, like more like masculine presenting.
Yeah.
But they're queens inside. Like, that's a butch queen.
Yeah.
And so I only bring that up because I do know a couple of the girls and the girlies and from like out and about. And one of the girlies, she was like, girl, you're becoming a little butch queen. I want you to get hella butch by the end of the year. I was like, oh my God.
But we love the dolls and always protect the dolls.
Yes.
Always protect the dolls. Why do you think I'm boxing?
We love our queens.
Funny enough, as we're talking about the dolls, I've also heard the term T-boy.
Ay, ¿quién viene? Ay.
So graceful. Paleta.
Paletas are back.
Dame paleta. Paleta.
Does that mean we're P-girls? Paleta girls?
The origin story.
The origin story of P-Girls comes from a podcast, Las Paleteras, started in 2014.
No, P-girls, pero por putas.
2014? I mean, 2024. 2014.
So what is everyone talking about?
Dick. I'm kidding.
¿Qué más con esto?
Hola?
We are having an Escuelita session.
Okay.
In honor of this month, of course, and we're just teaching each other because there's always more that we can learn even within our own communities. So.
Especially Cesar.
No, honestly, there's a lot of words I need to freshen up on.
I think he might have flunked.
I definitely
Escuelita.
flunked. I
Yeah,
definitely flunked.
I think, we were overachievers.
Oh, we Capricorns.
Es que me ganan con los años. No, I'm kidding.
They're
They're wiser.
Mira, gracias a mí estás
They
donde
have more
estás,
bodies.
cabrón.
They have more bodies, girl. Because of them, I could
Not
run.
the body
I'm kidding.
count. No.
Because they walked, I could run.
Right. Y la otra, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants.
I'm standing on the shoulder of my ancestors.
Ay,
Joking.
Ya me mató y aquí ando coleando. No, I'm gonna have it a second when the life
Espérate, espérate.
Nalgada. Sí. Esa. Yo también quiero.
Tú también dale.
Yeah.
No, I'm
We were
kidding.
just
I'm
talking,
kidding.
so I'm curious. Loki, that should be, if we had a Patreon, that's an exclusive members only section.
Make America gay again.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Subscribe para las nalgadas.
We were talking about, have you heard of, we were talking about the dolls, but we were also talking about T-boy. Have you heard of the word T-boys?
Not like in the wild, not like out in the,
Not on the streets.
not in the streets. But I've seen it in the apps,
Okay.
back in the day when I was,
Single hoe.
single and mingling.
Así dicen todas.
Before my marriage, my happy marriage.
You need to make sure you say happy.
Yeah. Am I
Happily
doing okay,
married.
babe?
You know, niño?
Yeah, T-boy, like it's a guy on the apps looking, and they're a transgender man looking for some time with someone. But yeah, they, because on the apps, like they have a lot of labels on them. Like you're able to put like, oh, I'm this type of person looking for this type of thing, and blah blah blah. Like there's so many things that you can label yourself if you want, and I think just ever since the inception of like the apps, I think just people got used to putting what they are and what they're looking for. So that's where I saw it.
The one thing I've always been curious, and if you're in the comments, please let us know, because this is called popular education. It's a liberatory model of education. But like I don't know if there's a distinction between like, does it mean that the person is on testosterone? Like, is that what the T stands for? Or is it like T or like trans? Like, I don't know what the T necessarily stands for, but I've always heard T-boy in the context of a trans man. I've been with a couple of T-boys.
Ooh.
And some T-men too, bitch. Listen, you're one down.
I'm done to explore. I feel like I need to.
Yeah, and even
Learn
like
more.
on the apps, like again, like particularly even like people looking for someone, they
T
would
for
always
T.
T for T, or like looking for T girl, T boy, like
Yeah.
so that's the only place that I've seen it.
But then there's
like, in
creepy
labels.
people on those apps, no? That are like
Fetishizing.
fetishizing like certain groups, and it's kind of like almost like scary or like weird.
much,
Like
yeah.
you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I think I can say for all of us when we say we're
gotta
not
protect the dolls.
fetishizing, we are loving on all of it.
Yes, we're loving, we're learning,
We're
we're
learning.
Yeah, we're
Learning,
learning.
And help me
Respecting.
and help me unlearn some things too.
Yeah, there's a bunch. So if you guys had to label yourselves, like what would your labels be on these particular
On the
apps?
apps.
So bottom. No, I'm joking. I mean, am I joking? But
Kind of.
no, I feel like I'm very like open. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, I only like this. Like I'm down to like have fun, explore. Like if I think the person's hot or beautiful, like I'm down to
I guess that's the
try
bad.
everything out.
But what would you label yourself as?
Oh, I probably just put queer.
The twinks.
The twins.
Twinkie.
What if
Queer, disorganized attachment style.
Wow, laying it all out there.
Anxious,
Yeah.
True lesbian.
I guess
Yeah.
anxious
She's in her pegging era.
anxious avoidant, waiting for somebody
Not the
to
therapy
Looking
terms.
for love. Yeah.
looking
Open for love.
looking for my life partner.
Hole is open, heart is open.
Everything's open.
Imagine if we just leave it all
Ready
out
for
there.
a healthy relationship.
I'm looking for someone to put the Yulin Hall. U-Haul. I love that though. I mean, that's real. I think might as well just communicate all the way. I feel
I'm
like
just kidding. I have a very secure attachment style.
Maybe after this episode airs. No, I'm kidding.
I've been doing a lot of work. We're getting there. We're almost there.
I definitely would put like another term too. Envy.
NB.
Hold
Oh,
on.
NIMBY?
Maybe.
Nimble?
Not in my backyard.
Like not in the backyard.
Well,
I mean, but
that could work.
actually, in your backyard. That's an urban planning blooper. That's cute. Send me that. Send me that. That was cute. No. But like, I think I would put like an NB for all. Because NB, like, colloquially used ENBY or ENBI, but it's like just a faster way of rolling non-binary.
Yeah.
And so NB. So ENBY.
Okay.
So I could be writing like, I identify as NB instead of being like NB, the letters. You just kind of spell it out a little bit, ENBY. And it's non-binary.
Yeah.
NB for all. That's cute.
No, I like that. It's interesting because I feel like I biologically identify as a woman, but energetically, like, feel kind of non-binary.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I always say I forget I have a penis until it gets hard. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's it.
That's right. It's there.
Or when I go to the bathroom. Because it's like the gender politic of like, damn, I'm just trying to take a shit. It happened a lot in Mexico.
No, I feel you on that.
Yeah.
On that experience. I feel like
The forgetting you have a penis or the bathroom? Oh, sometimes having a breakthrough.
Let's unpack that.
no, I don't know. I feel like
Some more learning is happening here.
yeah, somewhere between. I don't know. I'm just like
Yeah, sometimes I do forget.
sometimes I just like I don't know.
Yeah.
like I'm not defined by it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever been one to sit like in a very masculine pose.
No, yeah.
Because I think it might come from riding the bus actually, because I never wanted to take up too much space on the bus because then I put myself visible. And I clearly read as queer, anything other than straight. So I never like took up too much space on the bus,
Yeah,
so I would
yeah.
not put myself in that situation.
That's completely
Yeah.
opposite for me. I always was like overly like don't fuck. Like my demeanor was always trying to be like don't fuck with me because I was like hiding and gay.
Yeah.
So it's like my little defense mechanism on that
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
You're all spread open.
Yeah, I'm like
Yeah,
I'm over here like
Super
like
strong,
like
spreading.
Oh, man.
Classy and say, and mujeres.
Mujeres, somos
Yeah.
mujeres.
well,
In another life.
I overstayed my welcome.
Never.
What?
Oh yeah, what would you put on the
And
end?
to that I go
She'll put married.
married.
Busco amante.
Busco amante.
Busco novio.
Busco novio for my husband.
For my husband.
Hey! I need
don't
hold on though, hold
Yeah.
on. Have y'all talked about that before? Would you ever have a little pup situation? And not Leo.
Oh, my baby Leo. No, I don't think we've ever. No, we haven't talked about it, right, babe? But I don't think.
Right,
babe?
I don't think I'm open to someone that's like, pup, like a regular thing. I'm not down to like regular things. For me personally, I'm down to
Like a
if we're gonna
one-time-
have fun. Like, fine, this one night, y luego ya.
Yeah.
You know.
Like a little
Lárgate.
threesome.
Yeah, exactly. Lárgate. I don't know your name.
Emotional connection.
Yeah, no
yeah.
emotional connection. Like I don't know your name. Just like
Just connecting peepees. No emotion.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I mean, y'all could take full advantage and you have a little pup that just comes and does your chores.
Oh, it doesn't even have to be sexual. It could just be like,
Oh, that's what I was saying. Like earlier in the episode, one thing I really appreciated about in how I'm discovering queerness is beyond the gender, the sexuality, but it's also about the relationship dynamics. There's some people who are like, I'm attracted to this couple and I just want to partake in the relationship dynamic. But like, for example, a unicorn. A unicorn is just someone who comes in for a little bit of a moment in time. That's usually how I operate. So I fly and flirt with couples. And then
I have a
come
friend.
back.
She's dating a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I kind of like that.
Where
So
it's
literally
like,
dating a couple.
yeah, where like I mean, it happened once with somebody where like I was flirting with one of the husbands, and then they were like, "Oh, I'm married," and I was like, "Oh shit!" And then I met the husband, and who,
you're like, oh shit.
well, who is a listener actually.
Oh.
And I met the husband, and I was like, "Oh my god." And so then I was like, I just want to be in the dynamic. And for one time they came over and they were like smoking. I was like, but make out. Y yo
That's so hot.
I know.
wait, what's the term called when
You
when-
watch?
Yeah, when you watch
A voyeur?
Voyeurism?
Which is that third chair in the hotel room.
Oh,
where
the-
you just
the
like
cuck
sit
chair?
there. Yeah,
Yeah, that's me.
the cuck chair. There you
And
go.
literally, like, it's so funny because I had someone come over not too long ago, and the windows to my place are open and they're huge, and there's an apartment building, and they were like, "Do you with the window open?" I was like, "Yeah, why not, bitch? Hasta ahí te la mamo ahí enfrente, agárrate el barandal ahorita y
Mira.
dame."
Atrevida.
On that note,
Well, not
I don't know.
I know. Thank
Wow,
you so much for
enjoy.
this.
Hasta
Bye, girl.
luego. Bye, producer.
Bye.
Qué rico.
Ay, mi palito.
Palito.
Mi pitito.
Así la de tener. Así la...
Damn, girl, I finished it all.
Bueno, amiguitas, we're going to do another little segment. El que les, bueno, ahí andan por ahí. Dicen por ahí. El chismecito. Lo que cuenta tu tía. De lo que platican las señoras cuando salen a sacar la basura. El chismecito callejero. So I have a little bit of a question and a little bit of a hot take.
Yeah.
Okay, we've been talking a lot about language and its fluidity. And also, what happens like when you, I don't know how to phrase it, but like when people, like, is identity truly fluid or do people expect consistency? You know, we talked even right now in the apps and the language we would use. I think for all of us, our language was pretty inclusive. But what happens if all of a sudden, por ejemplo, dicen por ahí,
Por ejemplo.
me contaron que in 2021, tu tía la Demi Lovato came out as non-binary and that they were like, they, she. But all of a sudden, like, what happened to the non-binary, the NB girl, the NB part of you, now it's just she. Or tu tío, el otro, ¿cómo se
¿Cuál
llama?
tío?
El Nico Tortella.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
my
Espérate,
goodness.
¿cómo se llama? Porque yo le quiero decir el Nico Tortilla.
That's what I wanted to call him.
Ok, pues vamos a ver.
Tortellini.
Tortellini. Ahora, se llama Nico.
Tortorella.
Tortorella.
Total.
Tortorella.
Es que te va a
Tortorella.
decir Tortorella.
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 Oh,
Tortorella.
she has the pronoun in the name.
Ella. But the Nico Tortorella, you'll see right there, I mispronounced it, my bad. Nico
Yeah, he's
Tortilla.
hot.
But you know, there was a moment where I think Nico was identifying as non-binary, but now it's this and like very
and
white
super-
picket face.
Completely did an about face.
What if all of us sudden I like, ya no soy Nalgona, soy Nalgón, cabrón.
Yeah.
I mean, and I respect
You know what it
that.
is?
I
You know-
respect
but
that.
la voz,
I was
güey.
like, ooh.
Es
I
que
think-
vato, te empiezo a hablar así, güey.
Oh my
Oh my
goodness.
God.
Cuando quieras, César, güey.
¡Ay! Tengo miedo.
Ay, mira.
Cuando quieras. Look at Cesar. He's getting
Ay, se
scared.
puso
I'm
rojita.
dead, that's
Así,
so funny.
así has de tener el culito, me va a dar rojito. Ay, no, perdón, pero
Put a cage on it. Put a cage.
A chastity cage.
A chastity cage.
Ay, qué rico. And howling-me. Atrapada. Perdón. But back to it.
Yeah.
When, I mean, okay, is it fluid? When is it
Yeah.
fluid? And what is the politic of fluidity?
I mean, I
in
think
identity?
obviously we know that like our identity and orientation can evolve. We've all evolved. We literally in the beginning of this episode have been talking about how it's been evolving for us, right? Entonces, o sea, evolution, change, o sea, todo it's real, right? But I think that sometimes like when certain folks, it almost sounds like
No,
Demi-
the only reason I say it is I'm like, because Ana
Look at
Sheila
him.
it's like, it's coding certain folks, because they have things in common.
Well, I think it's just like I think that the change is honestly representative of like of the cultural moment, which is like this pushback against using pronouns and this like regression into wanting to make us sort of hide a little bit more and our safety being in question. I think a lot more than it was in previous years.
Okay.
So I do think that I think that some folks are going back to terms because either it's not like in fashion anymore. Or because it doesn't, maybe they don't feel as safe identifying
That's
with
fair.
those pronouns. I know
Right.
that, for example, me, I feel like I was starting to use she and they more often, and sometimes I just won't share my pronouns in certain spaces because I'm like, I don't know, is this a safe space?
What do you think? I'm hearing Ana Sheila say two things, right? It might be a safety thing, which is valid.
Yeah.
And then also it's no longer in fashion,
Fashion.
which is also valid.
Yeah.
And there's two different points. So
Yeah.
what do you think, Cesar?
I mean, I feel like I respect people's choices because, yeah, maybe they're like in an era of like self-discovery and they align with one thing and then they switch it up. But I feel like that's kind of the beauty of being queer and like being in this like discovery phase where you like want to explore, want to try different things. So I'm kind of like in between. I'm like, I respect it, but I'm also like, I don't know.
I think like I think similarly.
Yeah, like
I believe it's part of the queer identity or the queer politic, I should say, to not define someone's queer journey.
Yeah, like I don't want to hate
Yeah.
on anyone's journey. I'm like respecting it. Everyone's kind of going through different things, or maybe you find a partner that like it doesn't make you switch, but like it
100%
makes you like step into a different area of yourself.
Yeah, 100%. I do believe, though, I think it's a little different to something that you mentioned, Ana Sheila, with the fashion of it all. Because we do have to admit, and as we look at the evolution of gender identity and gender liberation over the last 20-something years, 20, 25, 26 years, is that there has been a huge transition or evolution around queerness. And like, for example, Ellen DeGeneres' character in her show in 1996 was the first character to openly come out in mainstream television. We had like Modern Family and a very homonormative depiction of queerness, but we have had these sort of like Wendy Guevara, right? Becoming the first trans woman in Mexican television to win a reality TV show. 100%. But we also had Francis before her, so there has been an evolution, 100%. And I think with that evolution also comes the capitalization of identity. So I think that's kind of what you're speaking towards.
Yeah, and so for example, with Nico, I'll have to look at some of the ways that he's expressed himself since he's gone back to being like a cis man or whatever. But like I feel like some of the ways that he's expressed himself, I think really shed light on his privilege in his identity and like how he can do that, and there's no like real like repercussions for him. And I also don't feel like he's doing a good job still protecting like the larger community of non-binary and trans people. And I'd have to like look this up, but I feel like there were some ways in which he was expressing himself that didn't feel like, it didn't feel like it was being thoughtful around the broader LGBTQ plus community.
100%. And this is so not similar, but it took me there. So I'm just gonna lean in a little bit and then folks can decide. But in my family, in my biological family, there is an ongoing fact that we don't know nobody really talks about it. But my grandfather on my biological dad's side of the family was probably Afro-Salvadorian. And there was some blackness in the family, but nobody talks about it. But when you look at like my biological aunts and uncles, there's like some like black phenotypes that are predominant in our family. And then I was kind of joking with someone. I was like, "What? All of a sudden, I'm gonna say I'm Afro-Latino," and I was like, jokingly, but I was thinking about it, and I was like, "Well, I couldn't." Because it's not within, like, I don't know the oppression of blackness. I understand anti-blackness via colorism and, like, ponte más bronceador, no te pongas más negro, or, like, what it means to be prieto. And I have a brown skin in my politic. But I think to that same extent, I always say, like, anti-racism is no longer enough or it's sufficient. Like, truly, for me, understanding what pro-blackness means is important and advocating for and standing in solidarity to Black freedom because of like there might be some like 16th Black in me, and not that I need to claim that identity to stand up for a community or to be in alignment with the community. Again, very different, but to your point, right, of like there's one thing of being like, yeah, I stand in solidarity and I can truly express myself, but it's like, okay, cool, and all of that freedom and privilege of expression in some way that we have in this context is a result of the struggle in lucha that a lot of people. So even if you're no longer like publicly, identifying as non-binary or whatever, de quién te rodeas, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I go back to that dicho, dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of white folk who are out here like, BIPOCs and my people of color friends and Black Lives Matter and fucking chinga la migra ice. And then you look at Ice Out and you look at their ensemble is shades of vanilla.
Not their ensemble.
Sorry. But any other thoughts on the dicen por ahí chismecito? Identity, is it fluid? When does it make sense? Who is making it fluid?
I think it's fluid. I feel like it's fluid.
Cute. I think it
I feel like people just are on this ongoing discovery.
Cesar is like cada quien.
Cada quien. ¿Quién soy yo para juzgar?
Solo Dios juzga. Solo el de arriba.
I think like my main point is just being aware of like our privilege and how we're how we're standing up for the folks most marginalized in our
100%.
in our community and that are in less safe environments, especially right now.
I agree with you. I think it's a little bit of like, there is a politic behind my identity, right? The great Audre Lorde said that the personal is political. And while, yes, there is this fluidity in all of the terms and the femme butch and, se me sale lo macho ahora all of a sudden, there's still a politic to choosing to be that. You know what I mean? Like, I woke up today choosing to be this body. Well, I didn't choose this body chose me. But, like, there is a politic to our identity. And I think from what I'm hearing you both say, it's like, go on your journey, but don't be or don't be dismissive of the politics that brought you here.
Yeah, exactly.
Ay,
That
qué
is
güey,
it.
qué
that was
good.
Yeah, that was it.
Los lentes sirven, güey.
La maestra.
What's the opposite of una nalgada? Because I want to give you that.
No sé.
That deserves a nalgada. Where's the
Una
palo?
sobadita. Ay, una sobadita. Ay, qué
She
fuerte.
said.
Una sobadita. Unas cosquillitas.
Ya. Bueno,
Check your
amiguitos.
privilege. No, I'm kidding.
Check my ella me pidió.
I didn't hear the consent.
No,
I'm
dijo
joking.
una sobadita.
No, Jota,
I'm
ya,
kidding.
sabes carrilar
We canceling
todo.
each other.
Yeah, for real. Bueno, bebés.
And this is the problem. I'm kidding.
Bueno, paletitas, thank you so much for joining us to another episode of your favorite podcast, Las Paleteras. Remember that we are a podcast that is committed to the deconstruction of ourselves, systems, and the status quo. Todo con un poquito de sabor, peligro, y mucha paleta. Make sure you subscribe, follow, and turn on the notification bell so you know when another episode of us drops.
Y recuerden que la vida es más sabrosa con nosotras porque somos las paleteras.
That was cute. That was cute. That was it.
Las paleteras.
Hi, Paletitas. This podcast is produced by Joel and Elpidio Perez, along with your hosts. Las Paleteras is edited by Augusto Martinez, with music by Cintia Morado and Ingrid Guijarro. Special thanks to our friends at Mitu and Sonoro for production support.